Hi, so I've been asked to share my experience as a dyslexic medical student, doctor and entrepreneur. So my background is that I grew up in Oldham in the Northwest. I went to school there. I did okay in school. I didn't do amazing by a long shot, but I did pretty well, particularly in sciences and art. I found actually that I was failing for a long time in my languages, and really that flagged with my parents and some teachers that I might be dyslexic. After being diagnosed with dyslexia, rightly or wrongly, I got a lot more support and I managed to pass all the relevant exams and got into medical school in Bristol. I actually took a year out before I went to uni, which I think for me was a good idea. It helped me get a bit more experience and put things a little bit more into perspective to then start what was a pretty hard course. So I then went down to Bristol, which I liked. It was quite a different place to Oldham, which took some getting used to. And medicine's a very hard degree, it really is. I certainly felt quite out of my depth at the start, as it's quite an academic course in the first few years in Bristol. But I soon sort of settled in. In the first few years, there was quite a lot of essays, which I just about sort of scraped through, as writing was a big weakness for me, and it still is really. So one of the big problems I found is that when you enter into medicine, you have to learn this vast new vocabulary of complex and often esoteric terms. It's the equivalent really to learning another language, and I really struggled with that, particularly the complex spellings. Sort of that seem to fill the vocabulary. I'd been through the DSA, the Disabled Student Allowance, and I'd got lots of different assistive technology that was designed to help me with my writing. But unfortunately, what I found is that lots of them didn't understand that complex vocabulary, so I didn't really use them as much as I could. But after struggling for a few years and after chatting about it with a peer of mine who was also struggling, we decided to do something about it, and we actually began a project to build a piece of software to support that use of specialist terminology. It took about a year or two to build, but myself and Niels, who was my friend at uni, we built a great tool which works to enhance other programs like speech recognition software, mind mapping tools, word processors, and support them in using that complex vocab, whether it's for dictating or spell checking or word predicting. It helps to use that specialist healthcare lingo. The software we built, I know Niels and I found really helpful, and what we actually found was lots of our peers started asking for licenses for themselves, and off the back of that we ended up selling a large license to the university in Bristol, who still use it at the moment. We used that money to start a business, and now medical software is distributed globally around the world, and we've gone on to develop lots of new and different assistive technologies. I went on to finish medical school. Actually found after those first couple of years, which were pretty hard and academic, I found I sort of came into my own a little bit. The Bristol, the last few years are clinical based, and I found my strong points, my strengths were my communication skills and my ability to think laterally, which I'm told is quite common for dyslexic people, but it certainly came in very handy in those clinical years, and I ended up graduating with honours, which was nice. I found as a doctor now, my dyslexia certainly doesn't hold me back. Medicine isn't, unless you want it to be, an office-based job. I'm on my feet for most of the day. I'm problem solving, I'm talking with patients, colleagues, family members, and that works for me. I enjoy that. I've gone on to work as a doctor in lots of hospitals across the UK and around the world, and I continue to work as a doctor today here in Bristol part-time, and I spend the rest of my time running an assistive technology company, and that's continued to grow over the years, and we continue to release new software designed to support students and professionals in reaching their full potential. So thanks very much for asking me to give you my story. I hope you found it interesting. Thanks.